turning impossible into possible.
Reflections, things that you felt that you probably couldn't do. It's like it gives you the courage to understand that you can do it.
I will fix what I can and tip what I can't.
Transformation. Key word. You understand?
It's all those things that you can't fix or that are out of your hand, just get rid of them and work on the things that you can fix and the things that you can control.
Touch on what's going on with the inner soul.
Along with that, reinvent yourself.
Basically, being able to cut through the layers of our experience and get to the core, or to the source of who we are, to be able to overcome whatever obstacles are thrown our way. Even the obstacles that you throw yourself in, not even know that you threw yourself an obstacle.
And how you can relate and share and exalt others.
That little ball does a lot. I don't know, maybe everybody in society should get a chance to take this ball and say, man, how you feel today? You know, don't be afraid to smile. If you feeling bad, talk about it.
You know, even in the beginning of this training, you know, I was really quiet. I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't really feel like wanting to talk to them.
No one wants to be judged, and we judge ourselves. So of course, if someone else judges us, it's a completely different ball game.
With Tip and, you know, growing the connection between us, it just made it easier to talk.
When you pass the ball around, I don't care how you feel that day. You know, whether you're feeling bad, you had a bad morning, or things not going right in your personal life, you can listen to the next person because it's being sincere about it, and think to yourself like, wow, okay, I got a lot to be grateful for then.
Oftentimes when you don't talk to people, it just feels like you're all alone. And I don't know, feeling alone is just a bad feeling.
Like, you would be surprised at who's going through the same thing that you're going through. Like, you would literally be surprised at who's going through what you're going through. And you're sitting here thinking that, oh, it's just me, it's just me, it's just me. When in all actuality, it's not only you, it's that person over there too, and it's that person too, and maybe the other two guys back over there too.
I'm meeting other people and talking and conversating, making new friends, making new friendships. It helps life be easier.
And by you confessing these things, other people start to open up about what's going on with them, because they feel like what you're saying is genuine and is real. So by you doing that, other people are like, wow, if he can do that, and if he can say this and be honest and truthful about what's going on with him, I can do this as well. Matter of fact, I am gonna do this. You know, like, let me get to the bottom of why I'm doing the things that I'm doing and be able to, you know, share this with other people so I can get the support and move on with my life.
Some things I felt was impossible.
If you can discuss some of the things you believe that's holding you back, maybe you can get another idea from somebody else, maybe what they've achieved or what their goals are.
Taking time to reflect on your obstacles, and if you can, like, you know, find ways to get past them or get over them or around them or under them.
Identifying the barriers is like really holding up a mirror to yourself.
Me being myself, I didn't run away from it because I knew that it was something I could possibly learn from these questions. So I didn't run from it.
My biggest obstacles that are relevant to, like, me being in a class has pretty much been like probation and parole type things, being in limbo between two states, and, you know, taking time out of my life to actually go through with this class and the time that it demands without that pay at the end of the week.
Some people in class might have known me for being shy, but me myself, I wouldn't say that about me because I just refused to acknowledge it.
I was dealing with homelessness because after my mom passed, a lot of things went kind of haywire. I was dealing with drugs. I reached a funk. You know, I wasn't going to work. You know, I had to reach out and really find out what's going on with me.
When I identified that barrier and overcame that, I got a whole other realization of who I really was, like what I like to do, what I like to talk about, what my interests were.
And I was looking for a job so I could support my kids and stuff like that. It's regular life situations like the death of my father and stuff like that.
Wanting to have a job. I was in real estate before where I owned a building, so I was kind of like my own boss. I owned a few rental properties, so I always said I'm never gonna work for somebody else. This is my ego.
The ego is a very tricky little son of a majigger.
Everybody has it. I can't think of one time that my ego has helped me.
Sometimes you have to let that ego go to really see things for what they are.
It does more harm than good.
Because the ego is pretty much right all the time, but the ego can trick you. The ego has a tendency to make you kind of want to lie to yourself. The ego can pump your head up how you're thinking one thing when in reality that's not even the case.
It's not an easy process, but it can be done. You can actually get through to that person and talk to them, person to person instead of you going back and forth with someone's ego.
Dropping that ego and just realizing that we all are the same. We all are going through issues daily.
Hope actions in general was an important topic, just because now that you've identified your barriers, you gotta be able to, you gotta know what steps you gotta take in order to break those barriers.
You gotta have hope. And I refuse to give up. Seriously, when you give up, life gives up on you.
And that's where the hope action, like I said, that's where it comes in, and that's what really changes you.
If a problem arises in your life or if a situation is going on in your life, a hope action is a way to keep you encouraged.
I want to walk me a dog. Seriously. I want to throw me a ball across the field. I want to go to work or go back to work. I want to come home, be tired as hell, but kick back and watch my big screen TV.
Now that you have identified your barrier, these are the actions you're going to take to bust through the wall, so to speak, bust out of that shell.
Most of the time I learned if you're focusing on the problem at hand or always thinking about the problem or the situation at hand, it's gonna mess with you a little bit. It's gonna not so much get you down, but kind of take your mind off focus off things that you could have been thinking about or should be thinking about that would have helped you get over it.
I'm a really anxious person. I get in a way, kind of scared of talking to people. And the hope action was calm down and just be yourself.
My hope barrier all the time when we be in STEP class is the same thing. Pray and pray and keep praying. Pray and believe in God.
And part of me getting back to the frame of mind that I have is when I prayed to God that night, my last night on them streets, I asked him, I don't want to be rich. I don't want to be famous. I just want to live.
The forgiveness letter, that was an exercise that put me in a position of wanting to change my situation.
The first thing off my mind I have to say that I learned from the TIP class, and it was a assignment we did, was actually forgiving someone who I thought I would never forgive.
God forgave you first, so we're to forgive others.
It's just realizing that we all make mistakes, and we have to learn from our mistakes.
It's a lot of reflection on yourself too and stuff like that. So as I was going through it and looking back on certain things, and I think about okay, maybe I've done certain things to these people and I probably never noticed that I was doing it at that time. Maybe they just don't know it was hurting me like that.
I pretty much wrote about how I had a flawed self-concept and how I've made decisions in the past based off of faulty information, and realizing that the only way that I'll be able to succeed in life is if I continue to be 100% honest with myself.
See, myself, I'm an in-your-face kind of guy. And then a lot of people, they like to talk indirect. And I'm the type of person, if you got something to say to me, pull me to the side and we'll talk about it. And I have to shake that off, you know, because that's how some people are, you know. I have to shake it off, don't dwell on it, and keep on going.
I guess with forgiveness comes understanding, you know? So if you don't have the understanding, then things will probably get to you. You know, that ego will creep back up, and then all hell breaks loose. So, yeah, so with forgiveness comes understanding.
Mr. Hound would walk around the classroom with a mic, and he'd be like, "Oh, you had just made it. You just accomplished your goal. How does it feel? What would you say to other people trying to reach their goals? What would you tell them?" And it's just like, you get to really feel like you did it. Like you could tell them how they're supposed to do it. And then based on what you tell them, you apply that to yourself. Like, don't give up. Keep going. And just don't let anybody put you down.